Hey everybody, so normally this channel is about men's issues and talking about them. But today, I'm going to go off brand and talk about something that everyone needs to be aware of. This is a video you must watch if you're a content creator like me, because it could save you from potentially getting sued or even potentially going to prison. And I'm not just saying that as clickbait. This is very real and something, honestly, a couple weeks ago I'd have never thought we'd be talking about. So if you're like me and are a content creator on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or really anywhere, and you use or have used Capcut to edit your videos, well, my friends, you need to seriously rethink that now. In fact, you need to stop using it immediately. Why? Because Capcut recently changed their terms of service in ways that can not only harm your reputation, but could potentially open you up to legal trouble, both civil and criminal. And most people aren't even aware of it, haven't even noticed it. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down and tell you what you need to know. This past June 12th, Capcut, which is owned by ByteDance, the very same Chinese company that owns TikTok, and which, by the way, is affiliated with the Chinese Communist government, updated their terms of service. They pushed it out, and sadly, as most of us have done in the past, we just clicked OK and moved on with it, never really reading the terms within. Well, my friends, buried deep in that legal jargon is some seriously shady stuff. Specifically, Capcut now claims that by using their app, just using it, you're giving them a broad, royalty-free worldwide license to use, reproduce, distribute, and display any content you create with their app. They get the right to share and sell it to anyone they want, third parties including advertisers, governments, or other companies. Now, to be fair, most of the social media companies have the same terms. But here's the kicker. ByteDance, if you agreed to the new TOS, which you automatically did by simply using Capcut after June 12th, more on that in a second, can now use and collect metadata from your videos, including location data, personal identifiers, and even facial recognition data. Oh, by the way, they can also sell your image, your likeness, any of that, basically without your permission, without any compensation, and without you having any recourse whatsoever. That alone should make you uneasy. But it gets worse. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples how in just a moment. But first, I need to make something clear. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. But I have talked to a couple of lawyers about this change, and they both said the exact same thing. Stop using the app immediately, because it can blow back on you personally. How? Well, let's look at one example. Let's say you do something like I do and create a fun parody or edgy commentary video using Capcut about, say, a company or a public figure, something I've done in the past. Nothing too serious, but maybe just pushing the envelope a little bit. Now let's say Capcut or someone they grant access to your video goes and repurposes what you said or did in that video and ups the game. Something they're now, by the way, completely legally entitled to do. Then let's say that person or entity commits outright slander or libel. Well, the company or public figure that takes offense isn't going to be filing a defamation or harassment claim against Capcut. Oh no, my friends, they're going to be filing it against you, because ByteDance, Capcut, has essentially given themselves full immunity under the new terms of service. Going further, it gets even darker. Simply by opening Capcut and uploading raw footage to it under these new terms of service, you're giving Capcut a non-revocable license, full one, to do whatever the hell they want with that footage. And if they so desire, they can hand it over to authorities or sue you if it violates their acceptable use policies, which, by the way, they can redefine at any time without even telling you. Now you're facing a takedown and possibly legal action, and Capcut not only won't have your back, but they'll be putting all of the blame on you. And the key point is, they get to do that not with footage you've actually posted on the internet, but anything you've uploaded to their app. Here's where it gets downright dangerous, and this is something I don't think many people are talking about or even know. By giving Capcut those broad rights to your videos and data, the third parties they work with can legally obtain your image, your face, your voice, and use it for anything. Let me reiterate that. Anything, including AI-generated videos. So now, let's talk about a nightmare scenario. One of those companies takes your image, legally acquired through Capcut, and uses AI to insert you into, let's call it a not-so-nice video. You know, something horrifying, like, say, a child exploitation video. It then gets distributed, gets passed around, and then law enforcement gets involved. Someone identifies you or facial recognition tech flags you. Well, my friend, very quickly you could end up under investigation for something you didn't do, weren't involved in, and probably had no knowledge of. The only way you might find out is when the FBI comes knocking on your door with an arrest warrant. And here's the kicker. Because you've given up your rights to your likeness through Capcut's TOS, you have little legal recourse against them. Even if you manage to clear your name, your reputation could be permanently damaged. And in today's digital world, a single accusation, even a false one, as we all know, can ruin careers, families, and lives. This isn't paranoia. This is a very real risk in the age of AI-generated deepfakes, metadata harvesting, and careless licensing agreements. And lest we forget the big one, ByteDance is a Chinese-owned company, which means essentially the Chinese government owns it and controls it. And by simply using Capcut, you've given that government legal access to do any damn thing they want with your image, your likeness, your content, heck, even things like music you might create. Now look, I get it. Some of you are probably sitting going, it's no big deal. Anyone can grab your posted videos and misuse them. That's part of being online. And yeah, that's absolutely true, that once you post something publicly, bad actors can scrape or copy it. Happens to me all the time. But here's the difference. ByteDance isn't just taking your public posts. They're giving themselves legal access to everything you create or upload into Capcut, even private videos. Say you film a family vacation video for your own enjoyment. You never post it, it's just sitting on your phone or computer as a file. Under these new terms, ByteDance has full access to it and the legal right to use that footage, not to mention the faces and voices of every person in it, without your permission. That includes your spouse, your children, even strangers who just happen to be in the video. And if something happens with that footage, whether it leaks, gets sold, or ends up in a situation with backlash, it's you, not them, you, who can and likely will be held legally and socially responsible for it. This is completely different from random trolls stealing your public posts. This is corporate overreach baked into a terms of service agreement most people never saw or didn't see until it was too late. Because what I mean by never saw is they never had the option to decline or refuse it. Because while some of you are probably thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to agree to those new terms. I just saw the notification this week. It doesn't matter. Capcut's new terms of service took effect back on June 12th. So legally speaking, the second you continued using that app after that date, whether you saw the pop-up notification or not, you were considered to have accepted those new terms. You didn't have the option to decline it. They've already given themselves the rights. And simply by using the program, you agreed to it. That means any videos you made, uploaded, or edited through Capcut after June 12th are already fair game. Your content, your face, your metadata, They've already got access to it. And you granted it to them without even knowing that the terms had changed, without even knowing what the terms were. That's how these companies operate. They bury TOS changes in fine print. They don't notify users properly or even at all until it's too late. Something, by the way, they're legally allowed to do. These companies are counting on you continuing to use the app out of habit, knowing full well that in the process, you've unknowingly agreed to terms that compromise your rights and your privacy, your right to control your online presence. So what should you do? Well, for starters, if you do use Capcut or have in the past, delete it now. Remove it from your phone. Remove it from your computer and check your devices for residual data files, something I've already done. And then switch to alternative editing tools that don't come with these kinds of predatory terms. Look, there's plenty of options out there. I'm not going to go through them. Some paid, some open source. But the point is, you need to take back control of your content. I would also suggest that you do what I've already done, which is to send a revocation of consent to those updated terms of service to Capcut based on the fact that you were not made aware of the changes until well after they occurred. In my case, I wasn't even notified until June 24th, a full 12 days after the terms supposedly went into effect. Look, it may not do much legally, but it's something, and it gives you backup should Capcut sell your image to someone else and they end up using it nefariously. And one final thing, we all need to step up and demand that our leaders do their job. Yeah, sure, Congress tried to ban TikTok, but they didn't do anything about Capcut. We need to demand they immediately pass legislation to ban these terms of service and Capcut itself for implementing them. We also need to demand that President Trump, who's been issuing executive orders to delay the ban on TikTok in the United States pending a possible sale, and demand that he rescind those executive orders immediately. I've already reached out to my congressional reps, and I'm encouraging you to do so as well. We need to demand that they take immediate action against Capcut, ByteDance, and any other platform for that matter that chooses to exploit American users' personal data, images, and families like this. Enough is enough. This isn't about politics anymore. It's about protecting your privacy, your family, your future. It's about protecting the rights of all Americans instead of handing them over to the Chinese government, a government with a well-proven record of, let's just say, causing harm to people. Spread the word. Share this video before it gets taken down. And trust me, it probably will. Let other creators know, because by the time this becomes a mainstream issue, by the time it makes the news, and it largely hasn't, it'll be too late. The risk is simply too great, and we all need to protect ourselves.